Hello learners, welcome back to my channel Shraddha's Physics. In this lecture we will see the derivation of Faraday's law and the differential and integral form of the Faraday's law. So now let us start with the topic, that is the derivation of Faraday's law. So let us consider, suppose a conductor, this is the conductor PQ. Since it is a conductor, so it will have some free charges, that is suppose Q, and this Q charges, they are moving suppose towards this direction, that is towards left, and having the velocity v suppose. So according to the Lorentz, the magnitude of the Lorentz force will be F equal to Q v cross b. So here the velocity, here you can see the velocity of the particle is in the direction that is towards left, and the magnetic field direction, the cross line, these are your, this cross lines, these are your magnetic field, that is this magnetic field is into the paper. This cross line shows the tail of the arrow. Okay, so this magnetic field is into the paper. So you can see the velocity and the magnetic field, they are perpendicular to each other. Just this is a three-dimensional structure, so you have to just imagine. Okay, so the velocity and the magnetic field, they are perpendicular to each other. So here according to the Lorentz force, Lorentz law, this Lorentz force is Q v cross b, or this can be written as this is Q v b sin theta. And since the angle theta between the velocity and the magnetic field, that is 90 degrees, so theta equal to 90 degree, or you can write sin theta equal to 1. So the force will be equal to Q v b, and the direction of the force, now you can see here, the direction of the force will be towards this direction, that is Q. So by using the Fleming's left hand rule, if the conductor is moving in this direction, that is this is the middle finger direction, it is for the motion of the conductor, and the index finger will show the direction of the magnetic field. So this is just the magnetic field direction. So the thumb will show the direction of the force. So now you can see here the direction will be towards Q. So the work done is moving all the charge carriers from P to Q. This will be, that is in this diagram, if you want to move the charge carrier, all the charge carriers from the P to Q direction, then this W will be equal to force into displacement, that is force on the charge Q into the distance that, or the displacement, that is PQ. So here the force, that is according to the Lorentz force, this QVB, force is QVB, so QVB into this PQ is L. So the total, the work done will be QVB into L. Now the EMF, we know EMF can be calculated as the work done per unit charge, the work done per unit charge. Now this work done is QVBL divided by the unit charge is, suppose the charge is Q, and here by cancelling this Q with the Q, we'll get the EMF will be equal to VBL. And again the velocity can be written as velocity equal to the rate of change of displacement, or that is dx by dt, and putting this value of the velocity here, that is E equal to this velocity equal to dx by dt into VL. And now this can be written as E equal to, if I will take this L, that is the derivative of d by dt of Lx, we can write it as, because this these are your constant. So again we can write it as, this is your d by dt of Lx is your area, so we can write this is the d by dt of this B, if it can be taken inside, so this is d by dt of B. Again this BA, that is the magnetic field into area, this is nothing but your flux. This phi can be written as phi equal to BA, that is the magnetic flux. And also we know this negative sign, this is just because of the Lenz's law, that is E equal to, we can write minus d phi by dt, that is this negative sign here shows. Here you can see the negative sign, it explains the Lenz's law, because according to the Lenz's law, the direction of the induced current is such that it will try to oppose the flux change which cause it, because the induced current will always try to oppose the flux or the flux change. So E equal to minus d phi by dt. So this is the Faraday's law. And actually this E equal to d by dt of BA, this is equal to, if I let E equal to d phi by dt, this is actually the Faraday's law, and if I'll put a negative sign, then this will becomes the Lenz law. So here we are deriving the Faraday's law. So this E equal to d by dt of B, this is nothing but E equal to d phi by dt. Okay, this is the proof of the Faraday's law, or we can say the derivation of the Faraday's law. Now we will see the integral and differential form of the Faraday's law. Now let us consider this is a loop of wire, and it has the cross-sectional area, suppose A, and it is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field. You can see here the magnetic field is not uniform here. This is the magnetic field. So the magnetic flux linked with this loop will be equal to phi equal to the surface integral over B dot dA. This is the flux, or we can say the flux linked with the wire. So if I differentiate this with respect to the time, then d phi by dt will be equal to the integration over dou B by dou T dot A. Simply we are differentiating with respect to the time. Now, according to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, we know the induced EMF can be represented as E equal to minus d phi by dt, or simply this is the Lenz's law. We can say this is the Lenz's law because here we are substituting the negative sign. So this is according to the Lenz's law, E equal to minus d phi by dt, or this is simply equal to minus dou by dt of, in place of phi we can write B dot dA. This phi in place of phi we can write, or in place of dou phi by dou t, here we are substituting dou B by dou T dot dA. Now this this EMF E equal to minus dou by dou T of double integration of B dot dA. This double integration means the surface integral. Now from the definition of the induced EMF, we know E equal to the line integral over E dot dl. So we can write EMF E equal to the line integral of E dot dl. Now if I will compare this equation 1 with the equation 2, now these are the EMF. So this line integral over E dot dl will be equal to minus dou by dou T of the surface integral over B dot d. This equation, this is known as the Faraday's law in the integral form. This is the Faraday's law in the integral form. Now again, if I will use the Stokes theorem, that is the Stokes theorem is used to convert the line integral to the surface integral. So this E dot dl line integral, this will becomes equal to the surface integral over del cross E dot dA. This is the Stokes theorem. So if I will apply this Stokes theorem in the above equation, now this will becomes, this line integral becomes the surface integral del cross E dot dA, and this will be equal to minus dou by dou T of this part, that is B dot d. And again, if I will take this term onto the left hand side, then this will becomes, let me write it here. So this will becomes the surface integral over A del cross E, this will becomes plus, if I will take common the surface integral, this will be plus dou by dou T of B whole into dot dA, that is equal to 0. So now this term equal to 0, or we can simply write it as del cross E will be equal to minus dou B by dou T. This is nothing but the Faraday's law in the differential form, or this is known as the Maxwell's first equation in the electromagnetic theory. So here we have discussed about the Faraday's law in the electromagnetic induction, that is the Faraday's law in the integral form, and the Faraday's law in the differential form. Okay. So this is all about your Faraday's law. If you have any doubt, can ask me in the comment section. Thank you all.